YouTube and fellow reefers, what is going on? Dan here with Electric Reef, and this is my long overdue tank update video for 65-gallon Electric Reef. I put out a video about a month ago, pretty much apologizing to everybody because I took a lot of time off from the hobby. It showed in my tank, it showed in my personal life, and life just got busy. Life got hectic, things happen, and you got to deal with it. So again, sorry everybody, but I'm back and we got some great things going on. So pretty much what it comes down to with Electric Reef is I neglected water changes. I wasn't doing water changes on a regular regimen, and I wasn't maintaining the tank the way I should have been. My tank husbandry just wasn't there. Wasn't blowing out the rocks. It wasn't siphoning out the sand beds when I was doing water changes. I wasn't cleaning the glass as well as I should have been, or cleaning off the pumps. And all that stuff adds up. It takes a toll on your tank, but what you're looking at right now, everything's going great. I've been doing about a 10-gallon weekly water change ever since I kind of got back into the tank and had more time for it, or at least started making more time for it. I started the Rico's Nano Challenge with my 20-gallon log down in the basement. That in itself is another chore, but I made it to the point where it requires minimal attention. Pretty much just the water change, and that's about it. Everything else just kind of runs on its own. So if you notice, I've gotten a Lavender Tang, and I've also gotten a marine Betta, and this thing is cool looking. One of my buddies, he's not necessarily completely out of the hobby yet, but he had a major tank crash on his 120-gallon, and he had to tear the tank down, but he couldn't get rid of the fish, and he wanted the fish to go to a great home. So he called me up, he said, "Hey, do you want this thing for 50 bucks? I said, that's kind of a no-brainer, because when it was in his tank, it was a model Citizen, didn't mess with anybody, and it just looks beautiful when it's out. Usually comes out when I get close to the tank for feeding. I can kind of see him poking his head out right now, so if he doesn't come out while I'm shooting this video, I will get you a shot of him before the video's over. Now, I also mentioned I got the Lavender Tang in here. I recently started working at my local fish shop, which I believe to be one of the best in the area. They just got pretty much everything you need, and they're just great people there. That's where I keep finding myself going when I need supplies, fish, a lot of other things in this hobby. I always find myself there. Great thing is, they're 2 minutes down the road from my day job. So it allows me to get there, put some hours in, work with fish, and get home at a decent hour to hang out with the wife, work on the tank, and pretty much keep up with everything else in life. And there's another reason why I work a second job, and I will get to that here in a few minutes. Now, you notice everything's real bright, crisp blue in the tank. And I will go ahead and pan up here for you. And that is because I'm running T5s over top of my tank. That is a Giesemann Matrix 2 6-bulb T5 fixture. And I made a little wooden stand for it to sit on. Now, you might be wondering why I got such a big T5 on this little 65-gallon tank. Well, let's go check it out. Alright guys, so this is what my Giesemann Matrix 2 6-bulb fixture is for. This is my brand new SCA 150-gallon Starfire tank. And this is going to be my next reef tank. It's going to be SPS dominant. I'm going to shy away from the softies a little bit, just because I have a little bit difficult of a time maintaining the two together. But I love the SPS side more than I love the softy side, and that's the route I want to go with. So I'm going to be making a lot of modifications as far as this build goes, kind of doing things on my own. You can see back there I already got a bulkhead in the overflow section. I drilled it myself. So I'm going to be making a lot of modifications. I'm going to be filming everything, and hopefully have the system up and running by the end of this year. So keep a lookout for some of those videos coming out as I progress in this next build. I got some cool stuff going on with it I think people will find kind of interesting, and just kind of doing it a little bit different. So that's what the Gieseman's for. I'm going, like I said, I'm going to be retrofitting the Giesemann with what are they? Reef Bright actinic bulbs, and it's going to put out plenty of power. Right now I'm only running the 4T5 bulbs, and it's doing wonders for my acros. So let's jump back in. We'll finish up on electric reef, the 65-gallon tank build. Alright guys, so that's my new build. That is what's going on with me right now, what's consuming a lot of my other time besides working 2 jobs and maintaining my house and everything. That is also being thrown into the works. So that build's already started, got the stand going, and we're going to run with that. So I got this Giesemann fixture, and I wanted to have some kind of LED availability for the fixture. So I made some modifications once I got it, made sure it was working right. This T5 fixture is solid. I mean, the thing's just built like a German tank. Like, the thing's just, it's awesome. It's beautiful to look at. So I will not be running a canopy over the 150 gallon. It's just going to be the T5s hanging from the ceiling. Now I mentioned I'm going to be throwing the Reef Brights in there. I've already made the modifications to fit the Reef Bright in there. Now I just have to custom order in my 46-inch Reef Brights. Now I sell them in 48-inch. Premium Aquatics is able to get Reef Bright to custom build them for me at 46 inches. So I cleared out some of those reflectors for the slots that are not using the T5s, and that's where the Reef Brights will be going. So other than that, guys, everything's growing great now. I've pretty much stopped dosing all the stupid crap. I'm still dosing 3 or 2-part. I consider it 3-part just because it's alkalinity, calcium, and magnesium. Those numbers are super stable. I have to adjust every once in a while to deal with the more stony corals growing. But once I started doing regular water changes and sticking to them, that's when I started seeing success. I stopped adding all of these additives. I still add the fuel by Seachem, and I also add a couple trace elements that I just do when I do my water change. I do about 1 milliliter of that stuff every water change. Just add a couple extra trace elements to the system and keep everything happy and healthy. I'm still running a refugium underneath the tank. I got some macroalgae like chloropa, I got chaeto in there, and I also got a mangrove, which I'm not going to show anybody in this video because my sump plate is off, and I'd like to throw that into another video because this one's not going to be that long. So I added the fish. Definitely up my bio load on the tank. The Lavender Tang I had to have. She was in a long frag tank at the local fish shop where I work. I had my eye on her, and every time I put my hand in the tank, she'd flutter my hand. And she was super healthy, just pecked at everything, and no white spots, just a beautiful, beautiful fish. So I had to have her, I had to put on hold, and I observed her for about 3 weeks before I finally paid her off and brought her home. She's been doing awesome in the tank. She gets along with everybody, but I have noticed twice bite marks on her side. And not bite marks from a parasite, not bite marks from the clownfish or the starry blenny or Bubbles the yellow tang or the azure damsel, but big bite marks, like from the mouth of this guy right here. That is my marine betta. Now I notice at night when the fish all go to get in their caves and pretty much hide for the evening, she swims right down where his cave's at. It's right in the back of this rock structure, right in the center, very bottom. He hides in there. I think she swims in there once it gets too dark, and he lets her know that, hey, you are not welcome in my cave. Go find your own cave and get the hell out of here. So she heals up quick. In about 4 days, the bite mark's gone, and it leaves no marks on her. But I definitely want to get this 150 up and going. That way they got more rock structure to swim around on, to graze on, and they can kind of all get their own caves and everything. Because right now, honestly, I know Tang Police might hit me up for this. The 65 gallon is way too small to have that yellow tang and this lavender tang in. Pretty sure lavender tang you shouldn't have in a tank that's any less than, I'd say, 120 gallons. But she's doing fine. She's healthy. She didn't come in with any sickness, and I've had her for about a month now, and she hasn't shown any sign of sickness. Her belly protrudes. She's very healthy. She's always eating. She eats a varied diet: brine shrimp, mysis shrimp, and the nori I put in there. I'm down to a 2-day feeding schedule. I'm not gonna lie, 3-day feeding schedule. About 3 days a week, I try and space them out. I feed nori pretty much every day to give them some other random patches of seaweed that's grown in the tank to munch on. But about every other day, I feed them the mysis shrimp and the brine shrimp. Now my corals, they're doing great. Like I said, once I started getting up on my water changes and I switched the lights over to pretty much blue. It's all blue plus bulbs in there at this point. Really, dude? Hey, quit barking. Alright guys, give me a minute here. Alright guys, sorry about that. My little crap kickers, they get kind of loud when they start barking at absolutely nothing. But my corals, they're doing great. They're growing awesome, and I contribute that to pretty much the water changes, keeping my hands out of the tank, upping the bio load, and just being better about my husbandry, making sure everything's staying clean, the water column's staying clean, and they're getting the proper nutrients they need. I test alkalinity about once a week, maybe 2 times a week if it looks like my pH is going down or going up, or I'm noticing a change like that. I'll change or test the alkalinity. Calcium and magnesium, I test anywhere from every 2 to 3 weeks, and I haven't seen a solid change because every time I do a water change, I do it at the same salinity. Pretty much do it at the same time of the day that I normally do. Every Sunday I do my water change, and I do the same amount. Like it's 10 gallons. That's all I do, 10 gallons. Don't do any more, I don't do any less. And I feel like that's attributing to the stableness of this tank. So everything's going good on this, guys. I'm noticing a lot of growth. Just everything's turning out the way I originally planned it to. But like I said, life gets in the way, and hard lesson learned. Make time for your tank. If you get to the point where you don't think you're going to be able to take care of it, sell it off. Do something else with it. Make it easier on yourself to maintain. That's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys look forward to what's coming for Electric Reef. And another thing also, I might be getting out a video here soon. We got Lear, which is Lake Erie Advanced Reefers Club. They're hosting their annual frag swap or frag meet or frag fest at Strongsville Holiday Inn. So I will be attending that on Saturday. I plan on getting a few corals from the one and only Jason Fox. I plan on picking up a clam while I'm there. And yeah, that's about it, guys. So maybe I'll try and get some video footage of there, talk to some of the different vendors. And yeah, that's about it. You guys take care. Keep your tanks happy and healthy. Electric Reef out.